A marketing plan. I've had the opportunity to watch a business attempt to start a marketing campaign without a marketing plan and fail, and read about businesses that start a 250-page marketing plan only for it to be based on obsolete data when it is finished. See, a marketing plan is the end all and be all for a marketing campaign. And in this video, we're taking a look at a marketing plan and the simplicity and informative information that should be inside a marketing plan. So let's jump right into it, the first thing being the ideal prospect. You see, your marketing plan, the first thing it should have is who your ideal prospect is and what are their attributes, their traits, their characteristics, right? So what platform is your ideal prospect on, right? So if it's a if it's an info product, right, then most likely your ideal, like if your clients or your ideal prospect is an info product owner, then your like prospects are most likely going to be on Instagram, right? And that's where you'll find a large majority of them, and that's where you should be running your ads to, right? But if it's perhaps a real estate agent, then you should perhaps be choosing to run your ads to LinkedIn, right, and Facebook, because that's where you'll find the majority of that's where you'll find the majority of your leads and clients from, correct? And if you're e-commerce brand, right, or you're just an info product who sells to teenagers, then well, where you'd want to like place your ads on Instagram and TikToks and Snapchat, right? Because you need to first understand where your prospects and audience is and where your ideal client is going to be, right? Whether platform, which platform are they most likely to be on, right? And also another thing about ideal prospects you need to understand is their pain points, right? You need to understand what problems are they suffering, what issues do they want solved, what pain do they feel every single day when they wake up? What do they wish when they wake up? What do they wish, man, if I didn't have this thing bugging me, my life would be so much peaceful, right? What is that one thing that irks them every single day? That's also something you need to find out, and also what their desired outcome is, right? Where does your ideal client see themselves in the next 5 years, right? Where do they see themselves? Do they see themselves amassing $1 million in revenue a year? Do they see themselves at 8 figures, at 7 figures? Do they see themselves with a bigger audience than before? Do they see themselves with a stronger brand awareness, right? Because each niche is different and each market is different. And once you're actually able to pinpoint specific things about your ideal prospect, you know exactly what sort of message to use, what sort of offer to actually offer them, and where you can actually find them. And this actually links in with the second part of your marketing plan, which is the solution, right? So once you actually understand their pain points, their desired outcome, you can actually form the solution and be the bridge that will gap where they are and where they see themselves. You see, once you're actually able to form yourself as the bridge, you'll get a large majority of people actually booking appointments with you and trying to have you solve their problem, because you presented them a solution that they're actually looking for, not just something you thought of in the shower and thought, man, this is a really good idea, I should create it, only for you to find out months down the line that it is a horrible idea and you should have done your research first. So go ahead and spend time customizing the solution, figuring out what solution will form the best bridge, right? Because there are different types of bridges, but you want to pick the best bridge, the bridge that is the quickest to build and also the cheapest to build, right? You want to keep everything lean and create a minimum viable offer, meaning that basically you want to help them reach their desired outcome through the least amount of friction or the least amount of effort required on both your parts, right? So the next thing is the messaging. See, once you have So the next thing is the messaging. See, once you have the solution, once you understand their pains, their lingo, like the sort of words they use, the jargon that is used in your ideal prospect's niche, and you also understand the solution that would really work best for them. So you also understand the MVO, the minimum viable offer. Well, once you actually understand those two things, then you can actually move ahead to the messaging and draft a way you can actually go ahead and explain to them how you solve their problem, right? A messaging, which is basically how you word the offer to them, right? So perhaps you can say something like, I help six-figure fitness companies get to 7 and 8 figures, right? That's a message, but you could make it you could redefine that message and say, so an actual proper sort of redefined messaging could be, for example, well, I help fitness brands that have a team of less than 10 actually scale to 7 to 8 figures through increasing their volume of sales from their audience, right? That's a very defined messaging, right? You're speaking to a very specific fitness brand, right? You're speaking to a very specific market, and not only that, but you're actually saying exactly what they want to hear, right? Maybe the fitness brands you're reaching out to, maybe they only want to target young children who are under the age of 13, right? Well, in your message, you want to craft that your agency only helps fitness brands advertise to people or children under the age of 13, right? And who would they choose between an agency that says I help fitness brands increase their sales, or I help fitness brands increase the volume of sales from people, from an audience that is under the age of 13, right? Or from a young audience, basically, right? They'd obviously reach out to the one who was very specific and was had a very defined message, right? Because they'd always choose someone like a prospect or a client or a customer, regardless of what service you're offering, will always choose the offer that, or the agency or business that helps solve their problem specifically, right? Because then that way they know that all the problems they're going through, all the obstacles they're facing, you've already faced them and you've already solved them with your previous clients, because your previous clients are exactly the same way as they are, and they were in the same position as they are in. The next thing is the funnel. Now, the funnel is something where you just map out the entire journey of a stranger into a paying customer for you. And this will include things such as the platform which you'll be hosting your ads on. And that platform is something you would have already redefined on the ideal prospect step, right? So by the time you're at this step, it's something you already have an answer to. And also includes the entire flow, includes every single step a stranger takes into becoming a client, and all the possible steps that a stranger can take before actually going ahead and becoming a client. Now, I have a video that is actually shows you the A1, the number one sales funnel that I use, and that any info product agency or B2B business can actually go ahead and use when trying to close a client, or when turning a stranger into a client, right? But it's not something that will work for e-commerce business, right? Because it's a sales call funnel, not a not like an e-commerce funnel, right? And I'll actually link it up here so you can go ahead and check it out, and you can see how my personal sales funnel looks like, and you can actually literally just take it and use it as your own, because it is a sales funnel that has been proven to work, and not proven to work just by me, but proven to work by a wide variety of my mentors who have they themselves been using that sort of sales call funnel. Now the numbers are 3 specific numbers you should be looking at, which is the LTV, the CAC, and the CPC. And now this is something you could even tailor to your e-commerce business or your info product, whatever business it is, right? This is universal. But the numbers focuses on the looking at the lifetime value of a customer, looking at the cost to acquire one new additional customer, and also looking at the cost per call or the cost per add to cart if you're an e-commerce business, right? And actually having your numbers dialed down will actually also determine like how much you're willing to spend on ads, right? So if your cost to acquire a customer is $200, but the LTV of a customer is like $1,000, then you'd be more than willing to just spend an extra like $100 or $200 on top of your current CAC, because you already know that in the long run you're still gonna make a lot of ROI and profit from that one customer, right? And cost per call is also another, or cost per add to cart is also another very important KPI to look at, because that metric on its own tells you how many opportunities you had to close a deal, or how many opportunities you had to get a customer to buy one of your products, right? Because you might have 300 add to carts, but only like 100 people who actually go ahead and purchase, and that means that 200 people are not purchasing your product even though they're on your website, and you need to figure out why they aren't purchasing a product, right? And if it's a cost per call, then you need to figure out, okay, my closing ratio is 20%. How do I get my closing ratio to 60%, right? Then you just go ahead and look through all your sales calls that you've been recording, and just figure out where the mistakes are and actually optimize to increase your sales call, because that way, well, you're just getting more profit and getting more customers while also reducing your cost acquisition, your like the customer acquisition cost, because, well, if you increase the percentage of people who actually end up being clients or being a customer, well, that thereby already decreases the cost to acquire a new client or customer, because you're like already making the most of the current leads you already have, right? So if you've enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and watch this video right here, which I personally selected for you. Thank you, dear.